Want to make a context-based interaction UI for your 3D Godot game? Here's how. Add some control nodes to your user interface. I have a user interface scene in my player controller. You can work from your own UI setup or get the one that I'm using via my Patreon. In your UI, add a center container, call it context component, and add a script. Go to layout and set the layout mode to anchors and use the full rect option, which centers all children nodes to the center of the screen. Add an HBox container and 2 child nodes, texture rect and label. Texture rect will hold our icon and label our interaction text. In position transform, shift the context component down slightly so it's below your reticle, or position it for your own UI needs. In the context component script, add a class name, context component, and 3 export variables. Icon and context will reference the 2 children nodes we added, and default icon will hold the default interaction icon. Remember to assign these after saving. For my icon, I'm using KENNEY'S free input icons and the E key from the keyboard set. Link to that in the description. We need to create a global reference to our context component. If you don't have a global script, you can add one by going to Project, Project Settings, Auto Load, and add a new script. As an auto load, this script will be available to reference in every other script. In the global script, add a UI context variable, then in our context component script, assign self to that variable when we're ready. Reset empties our label text and icon texture. This runs immediately after loading. Update icon runs when focusing on an interactable object and has 2 parameters, a custom icon image and an override boolean. If override is true, we load our new icon. If false, we load our default icon. Update content passes a unique string set by each interaction and updates our label text. To know when we interact, I'm using my interaction component. Check out that video in the description to make it yourself or grab it via my Patreon. This interaction component is attached to any object we want to be able to interact with. Working from this interaction component, we add an export variable for our context string. This might be something like open door or pick up box, an override boolean if we want a custom icon, and then a custom icon variable. We then call the update content and update icon functions within the inRange function. As a reminder, this fires when we look at an object, and we pass our context, new icon, and override icon variables. When we are not in range or when we look away, we run our reset function. And that's it.